Hello everyone, the problem that we're looking at today is the USACO 2025 February contest Silver Problem 3 of Transforming Pairs. So, I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, you probably already took the contest. If you haven't, you can pause the video right now and read through the problem yourself. The problem statement this time is actually really straightforward. I mean, other than all the stories that's been added on it, it's actually really a mathematical problem where you basically have two numbers and then you try to increment them using this rule, and then you try to get the first number from A to C and the second number from B to D by every time increasing the first number by the second or increasing the second number by the first. And you can do these operations any number of times. Well, in the end, you output whether it's possible to achieve this, and if it is, the minimum number of steps needed to achieve this. Now you can pause the video once again and think about how to solve this yourself. I would say for a silver of 2025, it is, if not really easy, not difficult at all. Okay, so what do we first notice for this problem? You could be like me where you're stuck on this problem for 45 minutes straight during the contest with absolutely nothing, and that will be fine because, well, at least for me, I had 2 hours left for this problem because of the extreme easiness of the first two. So the first thing that I noticed for this problem is that my breakthrough point, obviously after an hour and 45 minutes wasted, was realizing that we must have made the smaller of the two before the bigger one, which seems obvious, but it's actually, obvious. But that's actually more than we know. That's more than you think it says. Because if we always make the smaller one before the bigger one, let's actually think about this process. So for convenience, let's call the first hay bale H1 and the second hay bale H2. Notice that we must have made a smaller one before the bigger one, and say C is smaller. Let's just consider that example first. C is smaller. Then realize that in order to make H1 into C, H2 must have been something smaller than C at first, right? Because that's the only way we could have possibly made H1 into C. And realizing that since H1 is something smaller than C, it must also be something that can make D along with C. So what is the only value that's smaller than C and can also make D along with C? That only value is D mod C, right? Because then we can just use 1 of D mod C plus a few C's, specifically D divided by C, number of C's, along with that 1 D mod C, and then we get D, which is what we need for H2. So initially, H2 must have had D mod C hay bales in it. And knowing this is turned into a subproblem of the one above, actually. And we can repeat the same recursive process until we find whether it is possible and the number of steps. And if you're smart enough, you might have actually noticed that this is the exact process of finding a GCD, or the Euclid algorithm. But, I was not that smart during the contest. Even, after I wrote the entire program and submitted it, I could not realize that it was the Euclid algorithm. So let's take a look at my code. Do not just ignore all the comments right here. I was very frustrated of myself after I found the true solution because I could not solve it in contest. I only got partial credits. So first of all, obviously, if we've already achieved the goal, then we return 0. And by the way, x and y is the new C and D that we're trying to make. Because obviously, after we turn into a subproblem, we're not trying to make C and D anymore. Even though we're still using A and B, we're trying to make x and y now. So obviously, if it's smaller, we return -1, and if it's equal, we already got the answer. And if one of them is already equal and the other one, when modding is not 0, then obviously no solution. Otherwise, the solution is just the cost of making the second one equal as well, if it's divisible, obviously. And it's the same thing if it's the other way around. And then we just do the Euclid algorithm, very basic. I bet you all can understand this. Nx and ny are the new x and y's after this operation, and OP is the number of operations we did on this term, because we need to find the number of operations needed to make A into D. So we had to add up all the OP. So then we had to first find the number of operations needed to achieve Nx and ny, and then we do that plus the result from Nx and ny plus the operations we did on this term. However, if the subproblem is impossible, then we return impossible. And the main function is super, super simple, and that is it. Literally, the code is 80 lines long, and without the comments, it's probably 50 or even less. And this is the second shortest silver problem code I've ever written, and the first shortest being the second problem of this contest. Which is why I'm saying this is probably the easiest silver, not probably, definitely the easiest silver contest I've ever seen since 2020. Because 2019 January was kind of yeah. But after 2020, this has got to be the easiest one by far. And I don't know why the cutoff is 700. Like, I've seen 800 cutoff contests that are much more difficult than this, let alone all the 750 cutoff contests, such as the February of last year, which a lot of people said approached platinum difficulty, and I would agree. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but at least gold difficulty from last February. So that is how we solve this problem. 2025 February contest silver problem 3 of transforming pairs. I hope this video helped. And after this, it's just going to be me yapping and complaining about this problem and this whole contest. So first of all, let me show you something cool. So you see how this is a submission that I made, well, at least 22 minutes before the contest ended, right? Because that's the last one, and that's the first one. So at least 22 minutes, let alone the fact that I haven't made I didn't make any submissions in the last 5 minutes, but that does not matter. So let's click on this thing real quick, and we copy down this. We throw it in here. And then notice how if we submit this thing, I'll just tell you the results. If I submit this thing, I will get the samples and number 4, 5, 6, and 7. So actually, let's try that just to make sure. Okay, you might not understand what I'm doing right now, but you'll see very soon. Yep, transforming pairs correct. Submit the solution. Grading in progress. Okay, we get those two wrong, right? And now, moment of truth. We have this tiny little line. We add a line right here. We drag this thing up here. We compile it. We do not add a single character. We don't delete a single character. We just move the line up. And then, moment of truth right here. We submit the exact same file. And guess what? It is correct. Wow. See, I was this close to getting 1,000 on this contest, and it would have been my first 1,000 in my entire USACO history. Like, I did not get 1,000 in bronze or any earlier silvers, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be taking silver right now. And this is probably my last chance in getting 1,000, and I was this close, and my fingers are really close together right now, because you can't see. And I don't think I'm ever going to get 1,000 in gold, because that's just super difficult, let alone platinum, and there's summer training camp. If I even ever make that. And it's just this dumb mistake. See, I've never ever checked for edge conditions like this after I did a special check for special answers, like those two. If like 99 out of 100 times I write a DFS, I will put this line before those two ifs. And this time, this one time, the most important one during the USACO that would have decided whether I get 1,000 or 833, which I did, was if I put this line right here or right here, and I chose to put it right here. And that happened. So, well, I mean, I still got promoted, but this is just really disappointing, and that was just my little disappointment of this contest. Even though, after all, it's a good one, at least for me, and I'm pretty sure it was a good one for most people, because it's really easy. So now I'm just gonna make the last bit of this video overview on this entire contest, the difficulty, and why I think it should not have been the silver one. So let's start from the first problem. This is not gonna be a problem review. It's just gonna be a brief overview. So this one, you're constructing an array B with an array A. So it's like basic sequence construction, and silver sequence construction problems are really, like, they don't get really difficult, especially for people who practice gold contest like me to get silver. There's a bunch of past gold problems that will help you a lot in the sequence construction ones. Like, sometimes I just use segment tree or binary index tree, which I know a lot of you guys also know, but for this one, you don't even need those. This one is so easy. It's just mere greedy. Like, at first, I had like 5 different dynamic programming or like segment tree, binary index tree algorithms that I tried that didn't work, and then I realized I was overcomplicating it by way too much, and it took me 10 minutes to get a correct solution, which is pure greedy. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go watch the problem review that I posted about nearly a month ago now on this problem, and that's very detailed, along with all the explanations and the code post it down in the comments. So that is this problem. Pure greedy, nothing to it. Very simple. If I did not overcomplicate it and knew it was this easy, I would have solved it in like at most 30 minutes. Now let's go to the second problem. This one is by far the single easiest silver problem I've ever seen, probably after the 2019 January one, which that one was just really, really easy. So for this one, if you can understand the problem, you already have it solved. You're given a tree, and now you're trying to determine what's the deepest ancestor of a node that has more than one son. That is so easy. Like, and some people I see in the local editorial section says they're struggling with deleting nodes. Like, how is that hard? You just subtract the in degree of the father node by 1 if this point is deleted. You subtract that by 1. That's all you do. The coding took me like 5 minutes. The thinking took me like 5 minutes just to understand the problem. And the code is like 10 lines long. This is the single easiest silver problem I have seen, not in my entire life, but probably after 2020. And then we go to the last one, which is the one we just went over. And as I've already said several times, this is really, really easy. If it was in the 2020 contest, a December one, and it's problem 1, then I'd say, yeah, it's decent difficulty. But as a February contest, 2025, problem 3, this is not at all the difficulty I was expecting from USACO Silver. Like, if this was bronze, I'd say, yeah, it might be a little bit too difficult, because recursion, I guess that's not in bronze, but I wouldn't be complaining as much if it was in bronze and I'm a bronze contestant than now that it's in silver. And the worst part about this contest is that the cutoff is 700 points. 700. Do you guys have any idea how low that is? Let's go to 2024 February, which is exactly a year ago, and the cutoff was 750. And do not look at that. The cutoff was 750, and the problem difficulty was exponentially harder. Target practice, it's if I remembered it right, it was 3 different binary search, 1 big binary search, and then 2 binary search for each of the types, and then you have to do a greedy matching with a double pointer, and the coding was like over 200 lines long, at least for me, and it took an hour of coding and an hour of debugging. This thing isn't, it's the easiest one of the whole contest, so I wouldn't say it's gold difficulty, but it's definitely upper silver. Second problem of this contest, test tubes. This one is probably the single most complicated casework I have seen in silver. I've seen pretty complicated casework in gold, specifically a problem called HILO, which you can check out the problem review over that one in my channel as well. It's called HILO, and that's a really fun casework. And this one is not even fun casework. It's like just complicated casework. You can use something called a die-card tree or whatever, but those are like platinum level algorithms, so I would not even go over it. I think, oh wait, no, that's for another problem, but I think it's just casework for this one. And it took me about 30 minutes to come up with the solution, 30 minutes to understand the problem first, 30 minutes to come up with the solution, about like 2 hours to write and debug it. And this thing is even more difficult than the first one, target practice. So yeah, February silver, second problem. And let's look at the last one, Murals. Like probably the highest tier silver I've ever seen, maybe among top 5, maybe even top 3 difficulty for silver. You have to find the suffix minimum and the prefix minimum in this problem. Because first of all, you can obviously see that it's a lexicographical order greedy, because in lexicographical order, to maximize that or minimize that, you will greedy, because that's just how lexicographical order works. But you then have to find the minimum value, the suffix minimum in a prefix sum, which is not easy to do at all, and that got me for quite a while. So yeah, these are the 3 problems from the 2024 February. Every single one of them is way more difficult than like all 3 of this year's combined. And guess what the cutoff was? 750. What is USACO doing? Like, what are you guys doing? 50 more points on this one than this February? See, now, as Sherlock Holmes once said, I don't know how he quoted it, but it was like, if you eliminated all the impossibles, then the leftover one, no matter how astonishing whatever it seemed, that's the truth. So My only explanation for this condition that we're seeing right here of a 50-point reduced cutoff with way easier problems, the only possibility I think is that USACO is adding another division. So for those of you guys that just started USACO or did not have a history class on competitive programming, back in 2015, the US Open contest of 2015, I believe, they have newly added a platinum division. Okay. Wait, no, maybe not February then. I think it could be 2015 December. Let's see. Oh yeah, and it was a newly addition of platinum division. So it was in the 2015 December that they first added the platinum division that we're now familiar with. And during the 2015 contest, the ones right before it and the ones right after it were all quite easy. Like, quite easy as in this 2025 February leveled easy. So even though I have not mocked the gold one yet, and me personally, I just can't tell the difficulty in bronze. Like, bronze people will say it's so hard when I say it's so easy, or they will say it's so easy when I say it's actually kind of hard for bronze. So the bronze, I can't really say anything about it. The gold one I haven't taken because I'm saving that for the platinum grind. So I really don't have the right to say about the other three divisions. But in my silver division, this is probably easy enough for a lot of people to believe that they're adding a new division, just like when they added platinum and they decreased the difficulty in all three divisions that's already existed. So I think maybe the worst news that the all Oilers nightmare might be coming. They're adding a new division. It could be like what, emerald, diamond, or whatever, and that's just, it's bad for everyone. Like for bronze people, now you have to go through 5 divisions. For silver people, you just got to silver and now you have 4 more. For gold people, you were only 1 away and now you're basically stuck back in like almost silver. For me, who just got to gold, like I thought maybe I could have gotten to platinum before junior year maybe, and now getting to emerald or diamond or whatever they add is just completely impossible. So yeah, even though a lot of you guys are probably like celebrating right now for getting to gold, getting to silver, getting to platinum, whatever, if I don't know about the other 3 divisions, but if it was also this easy, then it is highly possible that they're adding a new division, because this difficulty and this extremely low cutoff for silver is not normal. I would put it as this. It is not normal. Okay, thank you for watching this very depressed video and hearing me yap for about 20 minutes, 10 minutes, I don't know. I'll see you tomorrow. And also, the platinum grind thing that I was talking about, see how that went? I said I would start grinding about 5 days ago, and I would record a video every single day, and I recorded, 0 videos in the past 3 days. Okay, thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.